All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Roundtable here with Ben. How's it going, man?
Good, man. How you doing?
I feel like I have a lot more energy, and I don't know if it's the drink I had before or the fact that it's Friday afternoon
Do you know,
of a long
I was thinking the
weekend.
same thing, but I feel like every time we do an afternoon session, we're either drinking an energy drink and it's like middle of the day, so we got all our energy back. So one day we'll have to do no energy drinks to see if it's just the energy drinks or it's just the time of the day, which I think it's a little bit of both.
It is.
You know, 6 a.m. is a little tough some days, but maybe
Life
I don't know.
might be changing here real soon, so it might get real interesting.
Definitely changing,
But I will say this, guys. No matter what goes on, we have a lot going on. I mean, this guy just got back from, a great vacation with his family. We have a long weekend. He had plans, everything. He's got big things coming in his life. We're going to be here for you.
We're showing up no matter what.
We're going to figure it out one way or another. So, well, with that being said, let's hear your question because mine's going to kind of ramble for a minute.
No, you're good. So Q&A. So we're doing another Q&A for us today. We just wrapped up Chapter Chatter. And like you said, there's a lot of changes happening in my life and in our lives. We're all, you guys are growing and doing 75 hard. And, I'm sure that there's other, business aspects and things that you guys are willing to do. We got summer here, family time. We got vacations coming up. We got this. We got tons of different things, right? And we have plans, right? We have plans that we set for personal, family, all these goals or plans or directions you want to go. And I was thinking about this because, we were kind of talking about this before we started recording, but I wanted your perspective on how you handle lack of control in your life.
Man, I was going to talk about stress, but I mean, that was the segment. I'm working on that, to be honest with you. It really depends on what we're talking about, but
let's just say life. So say you have a plan that you have in your mind and you know that you don't have any control of that situation. How do you handle that? Are you good at handling just being patient and knowing that it'll work out? Are you more optimistic versus pessimistic?
I'm very just kind of go with it for the most part.
Okay.
Because this is just overall, I feel like my life's out of control, which overall it's not. I have so much in place. I have so much planned. I'll talk real quick on 75 hard. Okay. There's a handful of times that we're like, okay, we're going to get this, this, and this done. But life throws curveballs, Gotta sell a couch, gotta do this, gotta move, got kids in this, got, whatever. But at the end of the day, shit needs to get done. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to get it done one way or another. I don't care if it's 11 o'clock at night. I don't care. There was one night, actually, my sister-in-law was in town. And I don't know if you came over that night. You guys might have been out of town or something. But she came into town and we were playing games. And it was 10:30. We had planned to try to get all our shit done. And again, life got in the way. Shit happened. And it's 10 o'clock at night. And we're trying to come up with a plan. My mother-in-law's there and everything. We're like, if you guys do this, 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 and this. But my father-in-law's like, I'm just tired. I just want to go home. And I'm like, you know what? Not a big deal. We'll make this work. We'll change some plans, do this. And my wife's like, are you sure you're good on the bike? I'm like, I got it. What's 45 minutes? It ain't that big of a deal. Go. You don't get to see your sister-in-law. You don't get uninterrupted solo U2 time. So just go have a good time. It worked out great, but it's 10. I think we got done at 11:20 or something. Life happens. I know you've had those workouts before. Life happens. You just get shit done. To me, if I can't control it, I'm getting a lot better at just saying I'm going to control what I can control. And that's been a lot of what I've been working on the last few weeks, actually, because there's things even at work that I can't control. As much as I try to have everything under control, honestly, it's less stress if I can't control it, so let's not deal with it. Let's deal with it in a way I can control and everything I can control, which is myself, which is all I can really worry about.
Yeah, that makes sense. No, I wondered that because I think a lot of people that I've met have that kind of struggle of where they're trying to control the uncontrollable.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this tug back and forth of like, you can say stress, or sometimes even leads to depression or anger, whatever emotion that feeds into that. You'll see them have that, and then, you know, you really look at the situation where it's not something that you truly have full control over. I think a lot of things you do, and I've talked about this, it's a lot of things you have control, you have a choice over to do it, but it's the ultimate thing is to be, there's a point where you don't have control anymore, but all you need to do is be prepared. As long as you fully prepared for everything that you needed to do up to a specific point, to me, like that's all I could do.
Yeah.
That's how I view everything. Sometimes it's hard to set that like boundary or set that line of where you stop, you know, okay, now I'm just going to let it play out. But I think that the more you think of those sections of like, okay, I did this, right? If I don't know, say, you know, oh, I'm pre-diabetic. Okay, well, all you can do is up to this point, you know, eat healthy, work out, have a better lifestyle, healthier lifestyle. Anything that happens after that, as long as you're following the game plan that you set for yourself, I mean, that's just the way things were.
Yeah.
And that's the way things were going to play out. Like I did what I needed to do. Maybe I don't know, maybe have a heart attack and it's nothing related to, you know, maybe decisions you made a long time ago, or this one-off thing that, who knows, it's a rare thing, you know, who knows? But I don't look into those variables. I'm just like, I just know that I need to do this. And then everything after that is the way it's supposed to be.
You know, there's a guy I follow on Instagram, and you might follow him too, but he works for First Forum, Will Grumpke.
Yeah.
You know, he talks all the time about how shit doesn't always go the way you want it to, just period.
Right.
But if you're prepared to be unprepared, it'll all work out. You got to make things happen. It's controlling what you can control, which is, again, I'm working on this and I'm getting a lot better at it. But what I've also found, a lot fucking happier when you don't worry about things you cannot control.
Right.
I mean, I can't control what people at my work do or what some dumbass on the street does. I can't control that. One, it's not my job. Two, you're not. Why should I control you?
Yeah.
It's not my life. I'm going to be happier if I just do my thing, take care of myself, work on myself. Mm-hmm. That's all I can control. At the end of the day, if you don't like me, you have a problem with it, or if my plan doesn't go according to, as long as I get what I need done, I'm happy.
No, did you feel like you've always had that?
No.
Like you feel like that's been developed over?
Big time.
Okay.
Big time. I used to try to control everything, anything and everything. And honestly, taking that control away and only controlling myself, my emotions, makes things a lot better.
Where do you think that stemmed from? Like, where do you think that control, was it from like a fear? Was it from a...
I'll let you know in a little while. The reason I say that is I kind of wanted to bring it up too. I'm reading a book called, I don't remember what the book's called. No More Mr. Nice Guy. That's actually what it's called.
Okay.
What I've come to realize is that I definitely put other people way ahead of myself. Always have. And so many of these traits, goddamn, I'm like, I can't decide if I love or hate this book, to be completely clear.
Those are the good ones.
Because it's pointing out so many of my flaws, but it's also giving me ways to work on it.
Good.
So I can't fully answer where it came from. If I'm taking a stab, there was something lacking in my childhood. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm not trying to bash on my parents. They did, the best they could, which is all I can ask. They taught me a lot. They were loving. They were good parents, all this stuff, and yes, I have my issues with them. Yes, we have our problems, whatever. But at the end of the day, they did the best they could. And my kids are going to have the same complaint when they're old. Your kid, your daughter, I mean, it's just fucking life. There's nothing we can do. You could have the best parents, but there's something that kid lacks. And that's just the way it is. So that's where I'm currently going to say is that something in my childhood made me that way, made me want to try to control everything. and I'm working on it. I mean, it's gonna make me have a better life, a better marriage, a better relationship with my kids, my friends, you know, everything. And it has. I mean, when I stopped taking so much, trying to control so much, yeah, shit might irritate me. Like I'll talk specifically about work or the gym, both of them together. There's so much shit that irritates me, but at the end of the day, I can't control what anybody else does. I go in and I do my thing. Like at the gym, I can't control that this person's a slob and doesn't put their shit away. What I can do, if I feel like it, which I do, during my rest periods, I'll put their shit away. I'll pick up garbage. I'll put, straighten my weights. I'll do whatever I feel is best for me. That's all I can do. Control myself.
Right. Well, I like that. I think I just want to backtrack back to, because I think you hit on a very good point, which was, you're talking about where that came from, and it's something from your childhood, and you're like, I don't want to blame, I'm not trying to bash, like, I want people to realize that that's an important part of growth. And there's a difference between playing the victim and dealing with the situation and growing from it. And what you said is different from somebody that's just like, well, I'm like that because of what happened. There is people that stay there, but the way that you've phrased it was like, I'm learning how to deal with it and grow out of it and show because it is true. We all have something. Something that somebody did, parents, grandparents, friends, whoever, that did something that created, the person that you are today. Good, bad, whatever. It's just are you using that as a crutch, which I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying people can view it that way. But the way you explain it was very correct. It was exactly the way you needed to say it, because I can hear it the way you're trying to attack it and progress and grow from it, not just use it as like, well, it's the thing we've talked about from the very first podcast was like, I hate when people fucking say, oh, I am abusive because my parents were abusive and I'm an alcoholic. Because bullshit, you're that because you choose to not deal with your demons. The way you said it was like, I recognize it. I don't know exactly where it is, but I'm trying to figure it out to grow past it. That's the important part.
I mean, that's been my whole last 6-8 months in therapy, is trying to figure out what's the root cause of this, where I can find this stuff. And it's not that I want to blame anybody, because I really have no desire to blame anybody. Because at the end of the day, and when my wife's on, you guys will hear that, you might hear this same story from her. At the end of the day, it's all our fault what happens to us. So many people use something in life as a crutch. Mm-hmm. And fuck, you did it. Mm-hmm. I know I did it. I've done it. But it's time to stand the fuck up, get off your crutches, and move on. I mean, at the end of the day, that's all we can do. It's just move on. Yeah. You have to decide what's best for you. If you want to use that crutch, go for it. You're going to limp your whole life. If you want to stand up and get moving, get moving.
Right. No, I love that. That's 100% true. No, it's facts. No, man, I think that's a good answer, and I appreciate that. I think it's clear to see, good to know, that you handle those control situations, because I feel like everybody kind of struggles from that from time to time. You try to control certain things, and you're right. You just have to kind of let those things go and go with not the flow, but just understand that as long as you're prepared, you are in a good place.
You can choose to be miserable your whole life, or you can choose to be happy. I mean, I've been the latter of the two, miserable for no reason, and it's time to change. I can see a lot of it myself, and that's something for somebody, and it's not like I'm just over here I'm getting better. No, it's legit. I'm why the hell does that matter in my life? Talk about controlling. I can control what I say to somebody, what I text to somebody, what I'm feeling, and I'm like, what the fuck does that matter? That doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. This is a thought in my head that's intrusive, that is bullshit, and it doesn't need to be there. So why am I going to let that control how my day goes? Why do I need to say this when it's the same bullshit we've talked about 100 times? Why? Control my thoughts, control my negative, and it's everything. Like I can control my whole day or I can let it control me.
Right. Yeah. Control your actions, right? As
Yeah.
well. It's like, you may be upset. So I drank a bottle of
Yeah.
vodka. Well,
Why?
yeah, you are allowed somebody else to control you.
Yeah.
Because you are choosing to make that decision. You are the one choosing to do that, not any other way. I love that. Cool, man. That was my question to you.
All right. So I was going to ask you about stress, how you deal with stress, but I've thought about this one for so fucking long. So the shirt I'm wearing, it actually kind of, you guys can't really see a whole lot of it.
Too stupid to quit.
But the back of it.
I didn't see it,
Yep.
but I'm guessing because
Yep.
you do love that shirt.
I do love this shirt. It just kind of happens to fit. So a little bit of backstory, when I finished 75 hard the first time, I saw this shirt, and at first I was like, I just love it because it's fucking cool.
Right.
But the more and more I go on, I'm like, especially this round of 75 hard, I'm like, you know what? It fucking fits. Because at the end of the day, I am too fucking stupid to quit. Nah, probably 100% of things. Because I don't, and we had a whole episode on quitting.
We did.
And failure and quitting, and I'm like, I really am too fucking stupid to quit. I can't just quit something because it's hard.
Right.
Like, period. I can't. So it's helped me through a lot of things, whether it's my own mental battles, whether it's my, any marital battle. No matter what, I'm like, I am too fucking stupid to quit, which is a very good and in some ways can be a very bad thing, but I find my way through it all because I am too stupid to quit. Mm-hmm. What is there a phrase or a saying or something that plays in your head a lot whenever it's hard, easy, that just is on your mind a lot? Because this one, I have like 2 pages of shit that I've thought about posting about it, but I think of all these great things while I'm driving or walking, and I too stupid to write them down. But, ultimately that's my thought. That's what keeps me driving is I'm not going to quit my 75 hard. I'm too fucking stupid to stop. So is there something that keeps you driving, keeps you motivated, that you pull out of that piggybank, that core memory, whatever, that's just when you're down, you're like, oh, fuck that. Yep. All right. I'm doing it.
There's a few. I do have some written down on my phone as well. The one that always comes to me is, they said you can't.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
And, yeah, I won't go into the people. I won't say no names, but I always felt like I had a chip on my shoulder. I always felt that way. That's just what I've used to push me forward. That's what I've used to help me achieve certain things. And I'm just like, they don't believe in you. For a very long time, and I'm not young. I'm still in my prime, but I'm not young like the way I used to be. But when I was like 18, 19, it was always like they say you're too young, because I did hear that. I was always a go-getter even as a young kid, and I got offered a supervisor managerial position at the age of 16. And I don't say that to fluff shit up. I'm just saying that because that's just the reality, and I heard a lot of criticism from people that were, at that job at that age, and people that were a lot older than me, and be like, well, you're just too young to do it. So that always played in my head. Oh, you're too young. You don't have enough experience. You can't do it. You're never going to be anything. So it's a lot of negative shit, to be honest with you.
That's where most of the sayings come from. That's where most of the shit comes from, because you have that choice at that point. Mm-hmm. You could have believed them.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't be here.
No.
We wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
The shirt goes along with just this fucking podcast alone.
Yeah.
We're too fucking stupid to quit because we want to bring the shit to the viewers. Yeah. We want to get the shit out there. We want to help people.
Yep.
Just like that.
Yep. Yeah. And yeah, a lot of that's just, it's always fueled me. The negative shit has always pushed me to do better. And, even like you said with this, people might be like, I am always the person that I rather stand up and be the person to get prosecuted and, go through all the shit, the mud, to make it easier for the next person. And I know this path has already been paved by a lot of different people, but just for our internal circle, for the people that come around us, the community that we build, I want to make it easier for the next set of guys or the next set of women or the next whatever to follow our lead and use our platform, our network to make their journey easier. Because I remember hearing that, like, you know, it's just not gonna work for you. It's you know, it's just not good enough. All these things, and I never use it as like, oh, they're right. It was just like, oh, you're wrong. Like, watch me. Yeah. I will do it. Like, it's always fueled me. Those things always, whenever I'm like I told you during my 75 hard, no music, just earbuds in, a lot of days, silence mode, and just those thoughts, and just thinking. Or I'm running and I'm thinking, oh, I'm out of breath. I'm like, they think you're a bitch. They don't believe in you. Nobody's fucking talking to me. Nobody's around me. But these thoughts are keeping me moving forward. And, you know, at times I'm like, that's kind of crazy. Like, why are you thinking this way? It's kind of like some like schizophrenic type of shit. You're creating this like people talking to you. Nobody's like there. Or somebody will, you know, drive past me and that guy, like, I'll be like, oh, that guy thinks I'm a bitch because I'm not running fast enough. So I'll pick up the pace. That guy's probably not even notice who I am. But those are the things that keep me going forward. And then I forget about him. Like, it wasn't like I was like, oh my God, like I really thought it. It's just in that moment I used it to do whatever I needed to do. But I mean, yeah, there's a lot. Like I said, I have a lot of phrases in my phone of things that, you know, I know that I can go back to and think of and put me back in a cycle of when I'm struggling or when I really need to hit that extra gear. But a lot of them are just negative thoughts, or just, you know, when we were, you know, going through our stuff when we were kids, you know, I always think about like they counted you out. They counted, and I say you guys because it's my mom, my sisters, they counted you guys out. They left you for dead. And I'm like, nah, that ain't gonna happen. Watch me. I'm gonna show all you motherfuckers you should never walked out of my life. And I believe that shit to this day. I'm like, I used to tell my friends when we were younger, you know, with a lot of drinking nights, right? Drunken nights would be, you know, and blah, blah, blah. So we really weren't doing shit, but there was certain things I was doing that, you know, probably weren't progressing me forward, but there was always trying to do something a little bit better. I'd be like, man, just stick around. I'm telling you, we'll get somewhere. And I never understood why. I mean, even Taylor, you know, I talked about airplanes, having an airplane, but at a certain age, I talked all these beautiful things. And I was like, just stick through it. And I'm telling you, you'll get rewarded. I don't know why I said these things, but in my heart, I believe them. And I always said, like, you walk out, it's on you. Like, it ain't on me. You need to stick close because, like, I want to elevate you there. I mean, then the people, they would walk out for no situation or turn their back on me. Like, all right, you don't believe in me? All right, let's do it. Like, so those types of things always fueled me to move forward. But they can also, you know, if you choose to let them take you down, they can take you down. But I never chose to do them that way. It was always like, I just used them as fuel to push me forward with my career. Like I said, I use those certain things, and yeah, a lot of negative shit, to be honest. And that's just what I'm fueled. My mentor always says, you're either fueled by a dream or a nightmare. Which one do you want? I choose nightmare all day. That's just who I am. I'm running. I'm not running to something. I'm running away. I'm running from the fucking dinosaur that's behind me. You know, the Jurassic Park dinosaur. I'm running. That nightmare is chasing me to move forward.
You're fighting it.
So
I prefer the you know, running. I prefer the fighting. I prefer standing up to that motherfucker. I mean, you got Goggins behind you. Mm-hmm. He talks a lot about that. Yeah. Now, in his mind, he's fuck that book right there.
Yeah, he's a fucking.
He talks so much about how he gets in that point and he starts thinking about all these slurs, all these people, all this shit pushing him down, and all the shit he had to do to get to where he was. And he goes that next step. He goes 100 past that. He keeps going. The shit. I mean, I'm listening to that book. You know,
and that's. Go ahead, finish off.
I was gonna say, hold on. I'm listening to that book as I'm doing my outdoors sometimes, because my wife and I are doing this split thing because it's hard to take the kids. I mean, I can force a kid to go out there, but I'll tell you, listening to him complain for 45 minutes is harder than just taking some time. So we're doing time, and I hop on the bike, the stationary bike, and I'm listening to it. And I'll tell you, makes you feel like a bitch when you're just out there pedaling. You're like, well, this dude ran 100 miles for no reason. You know, and I actually I went back and listened to an episode of The Real AF with Will Grumpke, and he talks about the same shit. So what I do the other day, I started to run to avoid a sprinkler. I didn't fucking stop for like 30 minutes. And it playing in my head every fucking time was him talking about how he just started out 1 mile, 3 miles, 5 miles. That's just in my head. And it came back to him one step at a time. Move 1 foot, move 1 foot. You know, all the negativity of, you know, I'm fucking tired. I'm sore. Like, this hurts was also fueling me. Mm-hmm. Like, you're talking about that. You can't do that. I even told myself that a few times. Yeah, you can't run this much. Like, it's just,
your mind will fuck with you, dog.
Oh, dude,
Straight
it's
up.
terrible.
Like, and
but at those points where I was like, well, I'm just gonna go, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna see what I can do. And the last bit that I ran, it was the hardest. The last probably quarter of a mile was the hardest, because there was finally a destination in my head. I mean, I hadn't thought I was going to go as far as I did, period. Granted, I had to then walk like twice as long because I ran so much. But it was, and I made sure I took 2 steps past that. Mm-hmm. I made sure I was 2 steps past that. I'm not stopping right here. I'm not stopping before. I'm going to stop 2 steps past.
And that's the level. And I only had this happen once, or I want to say twice. That experience where he talks about that next year when you feel like you're literally about to fucking die. And I knew I wasn't going to die because it was nowhere near what the fuck he was doing. And I do use him as a reference, like, okay, this dude ran 100 fucking miles. Stop being a bitch and run your 5. You're not going to die at mile 4. Like, stop being a bitch. But if there are only 2 times when I got to a point where I was like, I felt like I was going to die. And then I just kept going and going and going.
You feel
and going
fucking great when
and
you're
going.
done.
And I was like, fuck, my mind. And I was done, I was like, my mind was going to make me stop at mile 4. I made it to mile 6. Perfectly fine. Like, if I had nothing, I mean, it sucked, but it was nothing like mile 3 to 4 where I thought I was going to quit. And I broke that line, and then it was just like, oh shit, like what? And it's like, what the fuck happened? Like, I thought I was, but it's also, the more you get out of your mind, and you create these, you know, if you keep thinking, oh my God, it's hard, or you start thinking you're a bitch, keep going, you know, all these different things, you will push forward, and it's one of the greatest things I've ever had. But these guys have set a fucking standard that's like, I mean, Jesus Christ. Like, yeah, I've thought about that all the time. Like, I'm running 3-4 miles. Goggins is running 100, and I'm over here complaining about 3-4 miles. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I'm fucking in the comfort of my home. These dudes are fucking in the military, fucking running through, you know, deserts and fucking mountains with 100 pounds of fucking gear, and I'm complaining about running with a fucking 20-pound sack in fucking my, you know, neighborhood where nothing's happening. I'm not at risk of dying in any sorts. You know what I mean? So these books, I love military books because it puts things into perspective. The shit that they've done. And I heard something recently. So I attended somebody's seminar or something like that. It was something he'd done. He was doing like a teaching and stuff like that. But so I attended to kind of show some support. And he says, you know, why do you choose to work out? And he put it like this. He's like, I choose to fucking work out because if my fucking family was in my house and it was burning down, I need to be able to fucking carry them out. And I was like, damn, I've never fucking thought about it like that. And I was like, now I use that. When I'm at the gym and I'm pushing weight, like, I need to amp up. Because if something were to happen, he's like, if you can't carry your family, the fuck are you doing? And that's 100% fucking true. How shitty would you feel if your fucking family was in danger, they couldn't move, and your ass was so weak that you couldn't pick them up? I'm like, damn, that shit is like, because I think of those things. I run those scenarios through my head, like the negative shit, the straight, like, I'm ready to go. Like that, those things fire me up because it's true. You need to be able to do those things like real. Okay, maybe they might not happen, but what if they do? I don't want to be like, oh, I can only carry one. I'll come back for you. Like I want to be able to take care of all of them. You know what I mean? And I was like, I like that. I was like, okay. And so I've been using that verbiage in that saying, okay, you're going to quit. So I don't know. Negative to me pushes me, man.
It's hilarious you say that because I mean, this whole, between the chapter chatter, everything I've been listening to, people I've been talking to, my buddy yesterday just texted me, sends me a picture of the EOS, the yard, or whatever the hell it was, because he was doing squats or deadlifts or something. He's like, I'm here to push myself so I can defend my family at any cost. Like, man, this whole week is just like falling into place perfectly. What I needed to listen to, what I needed to do, what people are saying. It's just point after point after point. And hell, maybe it's me. Maybe it's the way my mind's starting to work. Maybe it's that stupid ass book I'm reading. And I say stupid ass book just because it's pissing me off that it's like spot fucking on. Like I text one of the guys that recommended it to me even. And I'm like, dude, I started reading this. He's like, dude, where have you found some good points? I'm like, damn near every freaking page. I'm on chapter 4 and 90 pages in or some shit. And every fucking page has had something on it.
Right.
That I'm like, what the hell? Like, yep, see that. Yep, see that. Yep, see that. Need to change that. Need to change that. How am I doing this? You know, it's got little like things to do throughout the whole thing. And I told the wife, I'm like, it's hard to read my 10 pages and do all this. And I mean, hard. I'm making up and I've said this goddamn word too much. I'm making up an excuse. But at the end of the day, I understand what I'm doing. I feel like there's a huge difference there. Too stupid to quit too, because I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. But I'm like, I need to go back and I need to do these activities. You have
to, dude.
You know, because this, and I'm going to bring the book to therapy on Thursday.
Yeah.
And ask her and talk to her about it. And if she hasn't read it, I'm hoping she'll pick it up and start reading it so that maybe she'll come back to me and say, hey, what the hell do you think about this? What do you think about this? Let's talk about this.
Right.
And shit, man,
I like that.
That book is crazy. But
no more Mr. Nice Guy.
No more Mr. Nice Guy.
I'll have to pick it up.
It's a really good book. When I'm done with it and after I do my activities, you're welcome to read it. Yeah, the wife might want to read it first, which I'm like, I don't know if I want you to read this. You might fucking hate me. But nah. She knows. She's been through a lot with me, so she understands, I hope.
That sounds like a good book.
But
yeah, no, I think you needed to hear this message, and that's kind of what you're putting out. And I think about that shit all the time, man. You need to be ready, and physically, mentally, like, yeah, I'm not going to be the guy sitting in a corner crying and, oh my God, I don't know what's going. Like, I need to be ready to go mentally, physically, and ready to go for anything. And whatever that, I mean, I might be thinking of that when I'm in the gym, and, you know, I've had people walk up to me and be like, oh, what's up? And then, you know, a day later, like, Dan, you look pissed the other day. Like, oh no, dude, I was fine. Like, it was just, I'm in the zone. And so I might be thinking about like people fucking harming my family. So I'm pushing all this weight, and then they come up and talk to me, and I'm like, yeah, what's up, dog? And I'm like trying to snap out of it, but I'm really there. It's relentless. I'm in a zone where I need to be to get this shit done. And I don't know if that's healthy. Maybe it's not healthy, but that just helps me get through. After I'm out, it's gone, and I don't think about it again. But in certain moments, that's just what I need to do when we go out. I'm thinking of it. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just fucking paranoid, but I think of those things.
I was going to say, I might be on the same boat with you because I'm thinking about it. My wife's always like, whenever we go anywhere, she's always like, you look pissed. But I get anxious in crowds, which I try to get around them more. Like, I just don't like big fucking crowds.
Yeah.
Period. But I do better and better each time. I get a little bit better, and, you know, certain people might come to me and start softening me up and stuff, and it depends on the crowd. But at the same point, I'm always on guard, like always looking around, always kind of paranoid about the people and what's going on and this and that. And like you said, defend my family. Like I won't stand. My wife can take some people on, but I'm not going to stand for somebody treating my family anyway.
Right.
You know.
No, that was a good question, man. Yeah, I think ultimately, I think it's all negative, and you can use positive stuff too, I think. But
it's just like he just like Grover talks about, the dark side's where you're gonna grow the most. I mean, you fuel that. You dig into that. You know, that's like your cookie jar. Like Goggins talks about it. You know, he talks about his cookie jar, pulling that cookie out, pulling that point out, pulling that person out. You know, it's like Andy Frisella talks about, you know, that guy might throw some shade on him or do something on him, and he just throws that in his bag, keeps that chip on his shoulder, and he'll pull that out when he needs to fucking destroy the next thing he does, to destroy the next person.
I think that's a crucial thing you say is take it out. Yeah. But you always have to put it back in.
Yeah.
Don't stay with it, because I used to use this, like, when I was cutting and stuff like that, trying to lose all my weight, I was like, oh, they're saying fat boy to you. Nobody's ever fucking said that to me. But I'm thinking that. But that, and I used that one because it did stick for me for a long time. But I was like, that verbiage can stick with you.
Yeah.
So that's your self-image. So you need to remember to put that shit back in the cookie jar. Close that motherfucker, and then know yourself, okay, I feel good. I'm different.
Know that's there.
But that is the moment. There's only those moments that you need to pull that out. The moment you're going to eat that fucking cheeseburger that, you know, you're going to say, not even a cheeseburger, but say you're spiraling. You're like, fuck, I've been off for 3 fucking days. And you're about to go for a 4th. And you're like, okay, I need to tell myself this to snap myself back into my routine.
Yep.
And then put that back and then be who you are with, like, all the confidence, all the abilities that you've earned and been able to achieve because of the hard work you've done. But then when you always need that, just know that he's there. You can pull him back out and put that shit on the table to push you just that extra little mile, that extra level. There's a fine line there, because I know that I've abused it. I live with a certain identity for a long time. But when you start doing certain things, doing the preparation, doing the work, doing the routine, that shit, you can put that away and be who you are, and then know that it's always there to kind of get you back on track or into the next level. Just caveat there, just be careful with the negative shit, because it can be very damaging.
Or you throw that piece away. You know, you ate that cookie, you just throw it away. Either way, throw it away. Wow, that's terrible wording. I'm not very good with English, guys. But, I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, darkness is great. Mm-hmm. I love it. I use it a lot. I've changed how I use it based off him. I feel too stupid to quit. It's just the way it is.
I love it.
And I like we talked about on our failure episode, I'm not quitting something. I didn't fail it. I'm moving on to something bigger and better. You know, I like yours. You can't do it.
Yeah.
I've heard that before. You know?
Yeah. Don't believe. It's all good.
You know, and it's great.
I use it with this podcast all the time.
Yeah. Shit.
All the fucking time.
I mean, we talked about it. We've talked about it.
So,
you know, these are going to be cool episodes to go back on. And, you know, and there might be a point where like, wow, those were not as good as we thought they were, and that's fine.
You know,
but
they were, and that would be good.
Yeah.
You know, because that means we've grown.
Yeah, exactly.
That means we've got to a point where we can see back, right? If we look back at this in 3 months, 6 months, a year, and we're like, oh, that's the best I could do right now, you're not moving forward. You're not growing. You can only give you the best of today. You don't want my work. You don't want my work from a year ago. You want my work from today.
Yeah.
And so if I look back in a year, 2 years, and we're wherever we'll be in 2 years, we should look back and say, damn, I can't even reproduce that, because that's not even me anymore.
Yeah.
I've grown so much. But that was the best I can give you. This is the best we can give you right now. That's where we're at. We're pushing to do better. But in 2 years, 6 months, a year, whatever it is, you will see. We will look back and we'll say, that was the best we can give. So I understand your perspective, but at the same time, it's like, I am super excited to look back in a year or two and be like, wow, man, like we've grown so much.
I feel like
look back at episode 1.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like that from now to episode 1. We're more confident. We're more flow. We're smoother. We talk better.
Yeah.
It's already starting to, the balls start rolling.
Yep.
You know, I've gone back on some podcasts I'm listening to, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
I can see it now more than, and I know that person can see it too.
Yeah.
Because that person talks about it a lot. But I'm like, holy shit, you had great points back then. Your fucking mind is just this much farther ahead. It's just this much farther ahead. This shit is crazy.
Was it the 10,000 hour rule? Whatever.
Yeah. That's
so.
Yeah.
Just know that we are today, but we'll look back and be like, wow, that I can't even be mad. I'll probably be like, I'll laugh at myself, but at the same time, like, that was the best I can give, and I'm super grateful that we went through everything and we're going through everything. We'll go through everything that we need to, and God, it's just life is great, and it's a blessing, and all we can do is be prepared to do what we need to do and use the negatives or the positives and not lose control, keep control, the things that we talked about today, and just keep going and being better, man.
What do you got for him today?
For the challenge, so we talked about control, and we talked about what you use to essentially fuel yourself to the next level. I'll use yours because I do like yours. I would say identify those things that can push you forward to get you to that next level. And it's even in the book Relentless that we do chapter chatter on. You need to find that dark place. And I recommend that you go find the dark places that you need to get to make you move on to the next level. That'd be my challenge to you. Identify those because it is crucial in your growth.
Dude, I can't say much more. The only thing I will say is as long as everything works out, which we're iron out details, we are probably going to have one of the most inspiring episodes going down next week. We are going to have our first guest.
Yes, sir.
In my mind, a very beautiful woman, a very strong woman. And if all the cards fall right, which we're working every deck out, every plan out, you guys are not going to want to fucking miss it.
Yeah, don't miss it.
I can promise you that episode's going to be hopefully the most popular episode we put out to this day. You guys are not going to want to miss that fucking story.
Yeah, don't miss it.
Control your mind and control what you can control to make sure you listen to that one.
Definitely. And it's the first of many, but this will be a special episode, not only for you, but for us as a journey with the podcast. And don't miss next week. The next week, whenever we release it, we're going to definitely, talk about it on our pages and stuff like that. But
yes,
it's very crucial. Yeah, don't miss it. It'll be a great story. Just I won't even try to summarize it. That'll come and tune in. It'll be great, and it's only going to get better. More guests. We're going to keep getting better. When I say it's going to get better, I'm talking about us. We're going to get better. The guests obviously are always going to be amazing, and we hope that we can do this for other people and open a platform where they can tell their story, because everybody's got one, and we've told ours, and we'll continue to tell other parts of it. But the biggest journey is just allowing others to share theirs, to help inspire the people that our words can't get to or aren't connecting with, and allow these other people to tell their story, to really show you guys that there's a lot of different people that can help you out there. And she's an amazing person, and I can't wait to hear her story next week. So I'm excited, man.
Guys, thank you very much. Again, like, share, comment. We love you guys.
Love you too, guys. See ya. Peace.